of the international benchmark of 70% set by the World Bank, such major infrastructure projects are therefore solely needed. All right, let's look at the mind of the editorial board in terms of finding solutions to all of this. It said every effort should be taken to redress Nigeria's infrastructure deficit, but projects and contract awards must meet global best practices, involve all stakeholders, and undertaken transparently. The Tinubu administration should strictly adopt this template. It should start by providing full details of the Lagos-Calabar highway contract. And quite instructive here from the Punch editorial board of 3rd of October 2023. And of course, on that note, I'll quickly bring in our guest this morning because he's already waiting virtually to join us in this conversation. And of course, we're beating very hard for time this morning. All right. Do remember that we are also live on our socials in case you want to join us and also drop your comment there. 32FM 949 Ibadan on Facebook and also on YouTube. Do remember we also have our panelists here with us in the studio. We have Barrister Yomi Ogunlola, and of course I have Professor Remi Ayede also virtually joining us from Kenya this morning. Is back on sabbatical to Kenya. All right, quickly, we have a guest also standing virtually from Lagos. All right, from Abuja. He's actually going to Lagos, right? All right, we also have our guest too joining us from Abuja this morning. We have Mr. Femi Falana. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria, former president of the West Africa Bar Association, WABA, and renowned human rights activist. And of course, he's joining us right about now. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. All right, Mr. Femi Falana, if you can hear us, your mic is muted. You may need to unmute your mic so that we can have you join us in this conversation because we're pressed for time. And of course, we're also looking at your itinerary for this morning. Please quickly check your mic. Your mic is muted. If you can unmute your mic right about now so that we can actually have you. Like I said, we have our panelists already seated in the studios. We have Professor Remi Ayede joining us, who is virtually this morning from Kenya. All right, we have Mr. Femi Falana. Good morning. It's really a pleasure to see you. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? All right. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you get a feedback from me? Can you hear me too?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Mr. Femi, can you hear me? All right, I guess we can hear you properly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me? Can you hear me from your end? All right, I guess we're having a little bit of technical issues there. Okay, we will take this breather a little bit to check up on that. But like I said, we still have a panelist seated in the studios. Okay, do we have him back? All right, Professor. Yes, we can hear you. I hope we don't have two of him at the same time. All right, we can hear you. Can you hear us, Mr. Femi Falana? Okay, we will have to come back to you very shortly, but quickly let me engage our panelists in the studio while we fix that up to have Mr. Femi join us again on the podium this morning. All right, Mr. Femi, we can see you. Your mic is going mute and unmuted. Can you keep your mic or muted so that we can have you? Can you hear us now? Is it better off? All right, Professor Remi Ayede, it's good to have you. Hi, it's Kenya.
Yeah,
Good morning. All right, we also have Barrister Yomi Ogunlola here. Good morning. All right, quickly, let me just engage you a little bit while I also check on our guests.
Can you join me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hear you. All right then.
All right.
All right then.
Fantastic. Good morning, SAN. How is your morning going?
Good morning. I'm okay.
All right. How is Abuja today?
You.
Yes, it's really a pleasure to have you. Okay, quickly, let's go through this because I know that you're pressed for time. I would like to start with a look at the outcome of the CSU case involving the former VP, that's Atiku Abubakar, and President Tinubu on whether or not he graduated from Chicago State University. Critics say this whole issue is around the identity of President Tinubu, that it has further dimmed the sovereign integrity of Nigeria. What do you say? What do you think?
Unfortunately, I am not in a position to comment on the case for now because Alaji Atiku's petition is pending pending before the Supreme Court, and he had clearly indicated in his press conference that he's going to adduce further evidence based on the materials he has gotten from Chicago State University. To that extent, as a senior advocate of Nigeria, cannot comment on matters that are pending in court. Journalists can take the liberty to comment on such matters or other public figures, but professionally, I cannot preempt the Supreme Court, you know, by commenting one way or the other on a matter that is pending in court.
That's all right. That's actually all right. We would have thought that on the sideline, looking at the disposition of Nigeria in the Committee of Nations and, of course, our interest in actually driving direct investment, that could be something that Nigerians may be interested in terms of our image out there. But that's all right. Let's move on very quickly. A ministerial nominee for the federal cabinet slumped while being screened at the National Assembly a few days ago. Is this a reflection of the health of Tinubu cabinet, or what is your verdict on the quality of the current federal cabinet that we have presently? All right, can you hear me, Mr. Femi? Are you still there?
I said dropped out.
All right, we're hoping that we get you back online. Okay. All right, before we take our first break this morning, we're hoping that we get him back on our virtual platform. Okay, it's still not back yet. All right, quickly. Let's go through what Atiku said, even though some SAN may not find this palatable, but there've been a number of debates as to where does the country image stand when we have instances like this being peddled within the international community. All right, let me quickly start off with Prof. Prof, what do we make out of this?
Well, I would say that the international media coverage since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared winner of the election has been rather lackluster. Some of them have gone outrightly to characterize Nigeria to be in an unfortunate situation, and they have made a lot of allegations in terms of the character of the president. So with the controversy currently going on, especially after the release of some of those documents, the image is not helped at all. But as we know, everybody must be considered innocent until he's proven guilty. And that's why he's still president. And there are both supporters and those who think that he should not be occupying that position right now. So my own position will be, let's see what the court will say, and then let's see what the consequences will be. If you look at the commentary from within Nigeria itself, you see that there are all kinds of reconfiguring or reinterpretations of what has been released. And there's no sign that the situation is going to die down very soon. And my own feeling is that if we do not have a decisive court position on this, we must continue this debate for the next 4 years when the tenure will expire. So it's an unfortunate moral dilemma, but that's where we find ourselves. And then we hope that one way or the other, there will be clarity, because right now it remains a dilemma. But it is unfortunate that this kind of controversy will follow a fresh president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, Prof, that makes a lot of logical expression there, but we'll have to go on this break. We'll be back very shortly. Please do stay with us.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Blessed be the Lord from Zion, who dwells in Jerusalem. Let's talk together to experience the words in the scripture as Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Oyo State Chapter, in conjunction with Christian groups in the diaspora, presents Jerusalem Holy Tour 2023 with our fathers in the Lord, Reverend Samson Ajetumobi, Oyo State PFN Chairman, and other fathers of faith in the land. Come and be a part of the people that will experience great worship, teaching, praise, prayers, and networking in the Holy Land of Jerusalem. Tour begins on 20th November and will end on 28th of November with our reliable Johnny Craft Travels and Tours Limited. To register or make inquiries, call Reverend Francis Adeshola on 0803-335-3574 or Oladeji Fumilola on 0706-495-4931. Be a part of Jerusalem Holy Tour 2023 on the 20th to 28th of November with Reverend Samson Ajetumobi, Oyo State PFN Chairman. Don't be left out.
Pennsylvania Makuma Koleto de Adekunle Ajasin University Ibadan campus Togun Wasimufulani Nhun College of Education Ibadan Lagos Express Road Oremeji Axis Ibadan lọ ní Makuma ńbẹ kó má bàa dínísẹ́ olóṣèlú sáìtù ẹ̀kọ́ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí ń gba fọ́ọ̀mù lọ enroll irúfẹ́ courses tó bá wù ọ́ ní kò yàn tó gbasabu kẹsàgùnbánirọ̀ lẹ́yìn àṣeyọrí English language political science accounting economics computer science biology health human kinetics social studies religious studies àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ rípo ní 5 credit tó ní math and English nínú Mondays to Fridays lẹ́kọ́ ìmọ̀ ìparí sẹ́ni tàwọn tó wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ Saturdays and Sundays AAUA management ńlọlù lóńdẹ̀gbà.
Postgraduate diploma PGD in education ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ báyìí ní Mufulani College of Education in affiliation with Adekunle Ajasin University Akungba Akoko Ondo State.
Platform ní Elewura Community Grammar School number 1 Baale Elewura Street Elewura Challenge ní Ìbàdàn 5,000 ní fọ́ọ̀mù 40,000 ní school fees fún semester kan 07031551555 tàbí www.aauaibadancampus.com.
lótìtọ́ àti lódodo pẹ̀lú ọlọ́run ohun gbogbo ní ṣíṣe láti wá bọ́ àjàgà èṣù kó o sì bọ́ sínú ọlá inú ìsìn agbára power service tí máa wáyé ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ìsinmi Sunday nínú ìjọ Cathedral of Jesus Kingdom Evangelical Ministry lábẹ́ iṣẹ́ ìránṣẹ́ ọlọ́run alààyè Apostle Adérẹ̀mí Adélékè ti Sunday yìí á tún lárinrin jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ìwọ ni kó o má gbẹ̀yìn níbi tí olúwa ọlọ́run alààyè ti ń fàṣẹ dáhùn sọ̀rọ̀ onípòjìpò látàgò 8 àárọ̀ ní Cathedral of Jesus Kingdom Evangelical Ministry tó wà ní Baálẹ̀ Adétòkò Street off Ológun Ẹrú Èrúwà Road Ẹlẹ́yẹlé area Ìbàdàn. Ọ̀pọ̀ onípòjìpò tó darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ló ti ń kọrin ọpẹ́ ní Cathedral of Jesus Kingdom Evangelical Ministry. Fún àlàyé tàbí ẹ̀bẹ̀ àdúrà ẹ máa pè 0806-224-0321. Olùgbàlejò Apostle David Adérẹ̀mí Adélékè ló ní tó o bá lè wá ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ yóò dayọ̀ lórúkọ Jésù.
Tẹ̀lẹ̀tì G property ìyẹn Orange Park and Garden tó wà ládojúkọ Ìdó police station lójú ọ̀nà ológun ẹ̀rú ń bàdàn sí ń tà pẹ̀lú àwọn àǹfààní aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ tó ń bẹ lórí ẹ̀. Perimeter fencing iná ọba ti dórí ilẹ̀ ètò ààbò tó péye. Orange Park and Garden ìrìn ìṣẹ́jú 15 ní sí Ẹlẹ́yẹlé ìrìn ìṣẹ́jú 7 ní sí reluwé tó ń bọ̀ láti ìlú Èkó. Àwọn ọlọ́gbọ́n èèyàn ti ń ralẹ̀ wọ́n ti ń bá iṣẹ́ ilé kíkọ́ wọn lọ ní Orange Park and Garden. Ẹ̀yin náà lo àǹfààní ẹ máa bọ̀ lọ́fíìsì Tẹ̀lẹ̀tì G tó wà lẹ́yìn GTB Bank Ajibade bus stop lójú ọ̀nà Sango sí Mọ́kọ́lá ń bàdàn. Kẹ́ ẹ wá ra fọ́ọ̀mù 10,000 naira. Tẹ́ ẹ bá ti dẹ́pọ́sìtì 200,000 nínú 1 million naira. Láàárín 24 hours la máa ṣàlókẹ́sọ̀n yìí. Fẹ́kùnrẹ́rì àlàyé ẹ máa pè 080-78-74-81-76 tàbí 080-62-43-1303. Let's G Property.
Ẹ wá lóní ilé o. kí lọkùnrin ṣe tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ fà lọ́lọ́pàá lọ́wọ́ kẹ́ má bàa dáràn.
fóònù tí mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rà ní screen rẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́ kíṣẹ́ fún rẹ̀ ló tẹ nọ́mbà ìyàwó wọn. bí a bá ń sọ fún yín ò ní gbọ́. lóòótọ́ ni ilé ìtajà fóònù pọ̀ rẹ́kẹrẹ́kẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n ṣé gbogbo wọn náà ló ta ojúlówó. ilé ìtajà iShow gadget tí mo lè fògbó ẹ̀gbárí tọrọ bá dọ̀rọ̀ kára iPhones Android laptop ìgbàlódé tí mú iṣẹ́ ọpọlọ yá kankan. kódà wọ́n ta accessories lóníranran tó fi mọ́ àwọn èlò ilé mìíràn. gbogbo ọjà tí wọ́n tà pátá ni wọ́n gba san díẹ̀díẹ̀ lórí wọn pẹ̀lú àjọṣọyépọ̀. kódà báyìí bá ti ra ọjà lọ́dọ̀ wọn lẹ́tùn máa jẹ̀bùn. tó o bá wá fẹ́ kí páńkẹ́ tó o gbé dání bá ọkọ̀ ìyàwó sójà lẹ́yìn èyí. yára mórílẹ̀ iShow gadget tó wà ní iShow building lẹ́yìn Lagos Ìkòròdú garage fanáwọlé Àbáyọ̀mí road Ìwó road Ìbàdàn tàbí kí o pe ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn 09014579517. iShow gadget gbogbo tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ lójúlówó lẹ́ ó bá lọ́dọ̀ wọn.
ojúlọ́ba ara aba capsule ìmọ̀lẹ̀ ló dá òkùnkùn ò dá ọlọ́run má sọ wá sókùnkùn ayé àmì o ojúlọ́ba ara aba capsule ilé iṣẹ́ authentic clear vision ló gbé jáde.
ìmọ̀lẹ̀ dé òkùnkùn parada ojúlọ́ba ara aba capsule ojú ni ìmọ̀lẹ̀ ara Èdùmàrè má gbòde ọ̀sán lọ́wọ́ wa àkànṣe gbòógì tá a fi mọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ ṣe fún ìtọ́jú ìmọ̀lẹ̀ tí ò mọ̀lẹ̀ kedere tàbí tó ń wò báyìí ojúlọ́ba ara aba capsule egbògi oníkóró ni NAFDAC ìlú ló ń tẹ̀ gbà authentic clear vision ló ṣe é ó wà ní chemist àti pharmacy stores lágbègbè rẹ ẹ tún lè ríra lọ́fíìsì authentic clear vision tó wà business complex lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Amidu Ajibade shopping complex gate Ìbàdàn àǹfààní ńlá wà fún alágbàtà tó ń kó ní pálípálí ẹ pè
08142543127 08142543127.
ojúlọ́ba ara aba capsule tí o bá sí àyípadà bó o ṣe fẹ́ tètè lọ rí dókítà rẹ o.
ojúlọ́ba ara aba capsule ilé iṣẹ́ authentic clear vision ló gbé jáde.
ká ṣèdánwò ká kábàámọ̀ lórí èsì ìdánwò ti dópin báyìí ẹ̀yin akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àtẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣèdánwò tọ́rọ̀ ti polúkú muṣu fún ẹ kú oríire o ṣèdánwò UTME WAEC NECO SAT Cambridge NAPTED A-Level
2024 UTME class 2024 WAEC class 2024 WAEC GC class bákan náà ni ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àti ìforúkọsílẹ̀ ń lọ lọ́wọ́ fún IELTS.
àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ lẹ fẹ́ ṣe ni ilé ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kan wà tí mo fọwọ́ ẹ̀ sọ̀yà wípé ó dúró re àní òsì sí lọ́dọ̀ tiwọn ta nílé ẹ̀kọ́ tí mò ń perí gan Crystal Health University Home of Success ní. bákan náà tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ kàwé ṣiṣẹ́ lókè òkun ó jẹ́ wa lọ́wọ́ dájú ó sì dá wa lójú tàdá nílé iṣẹ́ wa ó jàre kàn sí wọn nítòsí Foodco Baptist bus stop Àkóbọ̀ Ìbàdàn ó sì lè pè wọ́n sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 0803-428-3894 0803-428-3894 ní Crystal Health University Home of Success àṣeyọrí tó dúró re nínú ìdánwò dìrọ̀rùn pọ̀.
My people, na your choice supermarket, Living Proof Supermarket. They salute you now with another Obonga news. Say we don't open another shop for inside Total Filling Station opposite UMC Molete Ibadan. Everything where you want buy don't there for our new outlet for inside Total Filling Station opposite UMC Molete. We don't join all other our chain of supermarkets like a former Pinnacle Building, Felele, Old Martin Pharmacy inside Lee City University, including the one way there for Bodija, and very soon another outlet go open for Osogbo for inside Borepo Chemist Yetoro Osogbo with the all other ones where una sabi. Make no carry last o. Go buy anything where you need like beverages, drinks, groceries, confectionery products like bread, pastries, and many other daily needs. Remember, as you buy marketing for Living Proof, now your customer loyalty points go dey increase. Oh yeah, make una dey call this number 081-8888-7120. Share you see now, say Living Proof Supermarket. Now be your friend. True.
32 FM 94.9.
Safa sapeli sizo simnyama Iwasafa isizo saba Kavula mo Hanichaleni ko kelize Wemaye wemodo Safa sapeli sizo simnyama Iwasafa isizo saba Kavula mo Hanichaleni ko kelize Wemaye ngiyakhala Basafasa phela isizwe sinyama Iwasafa isizwe sabantu Alamula Anitshaleni nkokelize Wemaye wemodo
right, you're welcome back. You're still on to the podium on 32 FM 94.9. And of course, we're hoping that we'll have, all right, the SEN join us back if you can. And if you cannot, we'll have to move on with the program this morning. All right, quickly, we have Barrister also in the studios this morning. Barrister, there've been a lot that have been happening. And of course, the issue of the CSU, it's a very topical issue. And of course, we are actually looking at some of the underlying question here. Many people have talked about the identity question, and we're also looking at our image in the international community. And there's also a part of it that it's of great concern. The opposition is holding on to. Of course, the presidency is saying that those are lies from the pit of hell. And the opposition is saying part of the disposition coming from even the Chicago State University indicated that the certificates that the president submitted at INEC, it's fake. Because the disposition says that that was not their certificate. Now, if we look at all of that put together, our identity in the international community, does it run foul?
Yes, thank you very much. Let me say a wonderful morning to Nigeria, and also say that it is most unfortunate that Femi Falana-san cannot join us. We've come a long way in my days at GoTel, now TVC. I was also briefly a member of the Tiger Bar. So it's really unfortunate, that the network is not treating us good enough this morning. I would have even gotten him to at least say something on the issue, if not what is before the court. Now, you see, GBOLABO, I feel very sad, and you want to ask me why. Look at a place like Singapore. They have 3 cardinal pillars they claim is holding their country together. One is meritocracy. The other one is pragmatism. And the third one is honesty. And if a nation cannot boast of that 3 as the pillars holding it together, I doubt if it can ever assume that most desired position in the global polity. You see, what has come to the fore in the whole episode of whatever CSU or whatever they call it is that Nigeria is in dire straits. Nigeria is in dire straits. All the institutions of state have collapsed. All institutions of state, I repeat, have collapsed. Particularly the intelligence agencies of government. We all know the consequences of having an individual who is not truthful to hold the reins of power. All over the world, no country tolerates that. As we speak, President Trump is currently facing trial in America for telling lies to obtain a loan. The only remaining son of President Biden is also before a court on charges of lying, and if convicted, risks 25 years in jail. I would have thought that with Directorate of Military Intelligence, the SSS or DSS as they are called, and all the other intelligence agencies, when this issue came to the fore, that they would have taken the lead. What kind of a country is this? Some people were alleged to have stolen Nigeria's money. Nigerian courts could not find them guilty. We had to go to the UK. It took UK to convict Ibori. Alamisia. And I think Desanis is already going on in the UK. But in Nigeria, nothing is working here. Now, the issue of whether certificates were forged or not, we are waiting for a district court in America to resolve it for us. In an ideal situation, by now, the DSS and investigative journalists ought to have done more than they are doing. For instance, what certificate or certificates did Tinubu present to Mobile to get employment? By now, we should know. In 1993, when he went for senatorship, what certificate did he use? In 1993, rather, when he went for senatorship, what certificate did he use? In 1999, what certificate did he use? Because you see, you can see so many things are flying around, right? There is the issue of a BSc in accounting, which was what I believe he used in 1993. In 1999, he deposed to an affidavit that he had BSc economics from University of Chicago and a BSc in business administration from the Chicago State University. Before now, there were, depositions that were made, even though Afikuyomi was made to carry will take the fall for that he graduated from Government College, Ibadan. But from the findings of the district court in America, we are finding that Tinubu spent only 2 years in CSU because he had spent 2 years in Richard Dale College. All right? But there is the issue of a government college, Lagos. So, in other words, for Tinubu to have gained admission into Richard Dale, he had to have provided at least a qualification. And they are saying to us, it is Government College, Lagos. You see, the fear that I have is if these matters as they stand are true, can such an individual be entrusted with the management of a whole country? So I am indicting the DSS, particularly in this respect, because by now they ought to have furnished us with all the details. Let us know what is the truth about it. Nobody is against Tinubu, but we are all citizens of Nigeria, and we ought to be concerned about the safety of our country, because it is only when Nigeria is well, when the welfare of Nigeria itself is okay, that's when because we as citizens can only be realized within society. So I am saying that the whole of what we are witnessing in this country is definitely not good enough. We need institutions that will be devoid of the control of Mr. President. We need institutions that will owe their loyalty not to individuals, but to institutions of state, to the Constitution, to the country. We're not getting that now. If you have a DSS that is covering up just to get the good side of Mr. President, then we have not really started. So I think it's all a bundle of mess, as it is. It just shows that we are really not started.
All right, we have another guest joining us right about now. We have Stephen Olawale Fashakin, who is also a public affairs commentator and also an activist, joining us on the platform this morning. It's really great to have you, Mr. Wale Fashakin, with us in the studios virtually this morning. Hello, good morning. All right, you may have to unmute your mic in case you can hear us. Your mic is muted. You have to unmute your mic. All right, better. Okay, it's good to have you on the podium. Good morning, Mr. Fashakin.
Thank you very much. And viewers at home, thank you for listening to us. It's
All
my
right.
Dr. Wale Fashaki.
All right, Dr. Wale Fashakin. I didn't forget the part that there is a doctor there. It's great to have you this wonderful Saturday morning. All right, quickly, we've been looking at this issue, and it's been a conversation that it's everywhere, talking about the CSU and the question of our identity. Now, there's just a little bit of drama between Atiku and, of course, Peter Obi. We saw yesterday that the spokesperson for the Atiku Campaign Council during the last election, talking about the presidential election, Kenneth Okonkwo, coming out plainly to say that Atiku cannot force them into an harmonization where they have to join this cause to say the certificate being presented by Tinubu to INEC is fake or forged. He said he agrees, but he will not join an Atiku because Atiku himself failed to recognize party structure and the fundamentalists of the party, which says that, there must be rotation when it comes to power. And what do we make out of all of these instances? What does it tell us about the leadership structure we have in the country presently?
You see, where we have to look the thing politically right from the beginning. The article has made a great mistake at the beginning. If he has not allowed Obi to fall apart, it could have been a different thing. In the beginning, right from time immemorial, PDP has been having a very strong hold to the southern, to the eastern part of the country. But the fallout of Obi made it very, very difficult for PDP to have an inroad into that particular region. And that was one of the and this thing has been generated to a kind of personal issue. Personal. Somebody who is bent desperate. Because with what Atiku said was that he has a personal cause to settle with Tinubu. Because these people have not generated to this kind of a level where you are going, reducing and humiliating, so that if you put in Nigerians' name to this kind of disrespect. And the fact remains that this certificate saga they are also talking about is also happening in Nigeria. If you have a certificate, either you are a university graduate or any kind of certificate you have, and it's lost, your institution will not give you a certificate. You are only entitled to one certificate. The best you can do is to have an affidavit, then go back to that school, and they will give you to whom it may concern. So you understand, you cannot have two certificates. But in America, they said they don't put much recognition on certificate, and that you can get through a third party. The only thing you can confirm if a certificate is forged is that if you are having a 2-1, and you now put in your certificate that you have a first class, then you have forged that certificate. You see, this thing is generating, like I said, to a personal issue, to a kind of do or die affairs. But like Obi has rightly said, it's too late for Obi to now join forces with Atiku to achieve his aim.
But then the question is, where did Tinubu get the certificate he submitted at INEC? That's the question many people are asking. Where did he get that from? And of course, the question of gender, as much as it might sound trivial to some extent, some people said this is quite trivial, but if there was a disposition, like the opposition had said before the court in the US, that the certificate being presented before INEC isn't from the school, that's Chicago State University. So the question people are asking is, where did he get that particular certificate to submit to INEC?
You see, people are making a mistake. Like I've said earlier on, Chicago said that Tinubu graduated from their school, but they don't have the certificate he submitted. That means, and they also went further, that if you lost your certificate, you can get from a third party. What they are saying literally is that that certificate does not come from them, but it's still an authentic certificate because he went and, like in Nigeria, like I said earlier on, if you misplace your certificate or it's being burnt, you can go to a computer department or a computer outfit in Nigeria, have a duplicate or a copy of that certificate from a friend, and there is nothing they cannot do now. They can do it, but it must carry the real cost and the real grade you had. Why you left?
Is that not forgery?
So what they are saying doesn't have any implication at all.
Let me bring in Prof. Prof, what do we make out of what we have Dr. Fashakin say here?
I think that there's a big problem, a big challenge that we have in Nigeria now. Some people have been so intrigued by the success of Ashiwaju that they think that morality is no longer important. if you listen to most of this commentary, they tell you that we are wasting our time discussing such issues, that it doesn't really matter whether it is forged, whether anything, because right now what we should bother about is the policies that is bringing out and whether those policies are going to be successful to solve Nigeria's problem. So we get to a situation where the idea of Omoluabi seems to exist only in the mind of a few of us. It seems that as long as you succeed in whatever you do, and you are doing well with the crooked ways you have used to achieve success, it doesn't really matter. And that's why we have all of these issues. The moral question is completely downgraded. So it is normal because the University of Chicago State University says the third party. What do they really mean by third party producing certificate? Did they say that imply that you can just enter into any printer's shop and ask them to print a certificate for you? Because that's the impression that is being circulated by those who want to support Asiwaju by all means. So they don't even want us to carry out any investigation. They say we are wasting our time. So I think that we are getting to a point where we are in a state of anarchy, where anything goes. As long as you succeed, you are fine. So and that's why it's not surprising the way morality has failed us. If you look at young people making money, killing their girlfriends, killing their father, killing their mother, I think some people have actually come to accept that it's only when you are caught doing things like that they want to disassociate with you. But if you have power and you have resources and you can give them money, they are likely to also say that it doesn't really matter. Once you succeed in killing somebody to make money and you really make the money, then it is worth it, because you'll be able to help a lot of people who are poor, more than the single individual that you have killed. So whether killing is intrinsically bad is no longer important. What is important is that at the end of the day, when you make the money, you help millions of people and you have only killed one person. That's the kind of idea that a lot of people are selling. So if that's the kind of society you want to live at, then we have to go back and rethink about what the consequences will be for our society. I think it is really, really tragic and very bewildering and strange that people think that if you are accused, for instance, of claiming to go to a school you never went, or you claim to have studied one course and it turns out that there is something else that is in your record in the university, all those things don't matter once you are president. And you are president either from their ethnic group or president that they think they can benefit from. I think that's the kind of situation we find ourselves. The whole idea of seeking the truth, seeking clarity, asking people to live above board, I think they say it's no longer important. It's really, for me, it's a tragedy because when Barrister started, he was talking about morality, and I said, look, you are a learned person. It's not, you are talking about morality. They will also tell you that morality is not law, and therefore, if somebody has not been convicted, we should, in fact, not bother about it. In fact, some people will even tell you, don't even go for conviction. Once somebody is great and he has succeeded in anything, anybody who is bringing any issue concerning morality is only just trying to pull him down. That's where we are, and I think it is unfortunate. So pragmatism, integrity, merit that you are talking about that work for Singapore is not popular in this climate. And we really have to confront the reality on the ground.
But then I'm just wondering, let me just chip this in. I'm just wondering that is Tinubu a scapegoat now? Because we do know that, or will we say is a guinea pig now that has to go through all of this? Because we do know that this has become a chariot within the political space.
I don't know, GBOLABO, let me come in there. You see, it is just unfortunate that, rather than moving forward, we appear to be going backwards. Because if you remember, an issue like this popped up during the days of Salisu Buhari as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. I was in the forefront, I was in the trenches, with other like minds, in the struggle. And we used
Barrister, I would plead that you hold your thoughts because we have to pay additional bills this morning. Please do stay with us.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Blessed be the Lord from Zion, who dwells in Jerusalem. Let's start together to experience the words in the scripture as Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Oyo State Chapter, in conjunction with Christian groups in the diaspora, presents Jerusalem Holy Tour 2023 with our fathers in the Lord, Reverend Samson Ajetumobi, Oyo State PFN Chairman, and other fathers of faith in the land. Come and be a part of the people that will experience great worship, teaching, praise, prayers, and networking in the Holy Land of Jerusalem. Tour begins on 20th November and will end on 28th of November with our reliable Johnny Craft Travels and Tours Limited. To register or make inquiries, call Reverend Francis Adeshola on 0803-335-3574 or Oladeji Fumilola on 0706-495-4931. Be a part of Jerusalem Holy Tour 2023 on the 20th to 28th of November with Reverend Samson Ajetumobi, Oyo State PFN Chairman. Don't be left out.
ṣọ́ra fóònù tiẹ̀ ló wá sọ títí tó o tún ṣe síbẹ̀ tí kò gbọ́ tó jẹ́ káwọn engineer máa sọ ẹ́ di jẹunjẹun wo má jẹ́ kó tì sú ẹ ọ̀rẹ́ wa torí àìrìn jìnnà láìra bùkẹ́ ọ̀kẹ́rẹ́ jẹ́ mú ẹ lọ sí iléeṣẹ́ tó máa yí nìke fóònù tí wọ́n bá sọ fóònù rẹ di tuntun ní kíákíá ká lọ sí Real Phones Repair and Unlock Services. Real Phone Repair and Unlock Services ọ̀gá ni wọ́n nínú ká tún fóònù ṣe ká sòkú fóònù dá láàyè tó bá wá jẹ́ pé ẹ fẹ́ unlock fóònù ni ọ̀gá ni lásà Real Phones kó tún jẹ́ screen problem ni wọ́n ní gbogbo àrùn kárùn tó bá ń ṣe fóònù rẹ ní Real Phones abẹ́ gbéyẹ̀wò tí wọ́n sì sọ fóònù rẹ di tuntun. Iléeṣẹ́ wọn wà ní number 35C Nipos Shopping Complex ládojúkọ Cocoa House Ìbàdàn. Wọ́n wà láti wọlé géètì wọ́n tún wà lápọ̀tún rẹ̀ gẹ́lẹ́ tó bá ti wọlé tán. Ẹ lè pè wọ́n sórí 0706-436-8169 tàbí 0809-695-7878. Real Phones Repair and Unlock Services ojútùú sí gbogbo ìpèníjà fóònù rẹ̀.
àwọn èèyàn mi ṣègbè nítorí àìmọ̀kan Reuben George Theological Seminary Ìbàdàn ẹ̀ka ilé ẹ̀kọ́ fásitì Àjàyí Crowther tí ń bẹ lọ́yọ̀ọ́ àti Christ for the Nations Institute Dallas ní USA ń ṣètò ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó kún fọ́fọ́ nípa ìmọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú ìwé ẹ̀rí tó yọrantí nípa ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ìmọ̀ Ọlọ́run Diploma in Theology and Religious Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Theology and Religious Studies, Executive Postgraduate Diploma in Pastoral Studies, Masters of Arts in Christian Leadership and Pastoral Studies, Master of Divinity. Ǹjẹ́ àlùfáà ìjọ nìwọ ni díákónì lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin alàgbà ìjọ ajínrere olùkọ́ tàbí ẹni tó tún fẹ́ nímọ̀ lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ nípa Ọlọ́run Reuben George Theological Seminary gangan ló dáńtọ́ fún ọ láti wá ẹ kàn sí alákòóso Reuben George Theological Seminary ní Gospel Town Arúlógún Road Ọ̀jọ́ Ìbàdàn tàbí ojú òpó ayélujára www.riget.com.ng. ètò ìgbaniwọlé ń lọ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀lú wa ní 0805-304-0344 0805-304-0344 Reuben George Theological Seminary ilé ẹ̀kọ́ fún ẹ̀kọ́ nípa ìmọ̀ Ọlọ́run tó yanrantí.
I'm living the life because I get Tizeti. Yes, sir.
Nigeria's most affordable internet service provider, Tizeti Network Limited, is now live in Ibadan. Oh yes, Ibadan residents can now enjoy our truly unlimited internet service too. Tizeti prides itself on providing the lowest cost of unlimited internet access to residential and small business customers. You can now browse, stream, and game 24/7 at an amazing speed, and with an uncapped data plan, connect to Tizeti's fast unlimited internet service for just 12,500 naira only per month. What more? Visit wifi.com.ng/OYO to sign up or call 012298-786 or send email to internet@wifi.com.ng to get started now. Unlimited internet.
bá a ṣe láwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ dókítà tíṣẹ́yé bẹ́ẹ̀ náà la láwọn àwòrán àṣà mẹkáníìkì GMF Auto Services Limited bóyá ẹ̀ tí ìdébẹ̀ wò ní ọ̀jẹ̀ mọ̀ pọ́nmọ́nàmọ́pa àwọn erin lákàtàbù irinṣẹ́ ni ó diagnose mọ́tò yín kẹ́sẹ́ bí wọ́n ti máa fẹnu fapò sórí carburetor wait and get ni kò ní lọ kábọ̀ tí machine bá ti ń discover problem láàmú fix ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ kan torí gbogbo original spare part ń bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ̀ bíbá àwọn aláràlù àtàwọn aláràtúntà gan tó wá ń kó lọ́pọ̀ yanturu ṣe rí i pé gbogbo ń tẹ́ fẹ́ lójú kan ló wà.
Yes, so our services, the consultancy, diagnosis, key programming, transmission repair, maintenance, spare part sales, plus plenty odonge things. GMF Auto Services Limited. Pay for number 3, Oni Lane, beside White House Hotel, behind Bros High School, Labawo, Ogunpa, Ibadan.
Ẹ kọ́ pé wọ́n lórí aago náà kẹ́ ẹ mọ bó ṣe wà sí 0806-634-8917 0806-634-8917 tó o bá fẹ́ kẹ́mi ọkọ̀ rí ogun GMF ni ó yàn láàyò.
ẹ̀ńtọ́fẹ́ni mọ̀kúmọ̀ kó lè tó jẹ Adékúnlé Ajásin University Ìbàdàn campus tó gún wàsímù fúlàní hun college of education Ìbàdàn Lagos express road ọ̀rẹ́ méjì axis Ìbàdàn lọ ní mọ̀kúmọ̀ ńbẹ kó o má bàa dínísẹ́ olóṣèlú sáìtò ẹ̀kọ́ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ti ń gba fọ́ọ̀mù lọ enroll irúfẹ́ courses tó bá wù ọ́ ní kó yàn tó gba sabukéṣà àgùnbánirọ̀ lẹ́yìn àṣeyọrí English language political science accounting economics computer science biology health human kinetics social studies religious studies àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ rípo ní 5 credit tó ní math and English nínú Mondays to Fridays lẹ́kọ́ ìmọ̀ ìparí sẹ́ni tàwọn tó wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ Saturdays and Sundays AAUA management ńlọ́lù lóńdẹ̀ gbà.
postgraduate diploma PGD in education ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ báyìí ní Mufulani college of education in affiliation with Adekunle Ajasin University Akungba Akoko Ondo State.
platform ní Elewura community grammar school number 1 Baale Elewura street Elewura challenge nìbàdàn 5,000 ní fọ́ọ̀mù 40,000 ní school fees fún semester kan 07031551555 tàbí www.aauaibadancampus.com.
èrò máa wá o ẹ̀dà gírí máa bọ̀ o síléeṣẹ́ mi wà ń tó kalẹ̀ sójele kónílé ó gbọ́ o kálejò gbọ́ ẹ sọ fàdán kóró fóbẹ̀ péléeṣẹ́ mi wà naturalist care limited ti kalẹ̀ kà sóje ọlọ́run ló kúkú dirí ẹwà fákùkọ tiwa gbogbo oògùn tó ń jáde níléeṣẹ́ mi wà ń pátá ló wà níbẹ̀ lówó tí ò ga jara lọ pẹ̀lú irinṣẹ́ ìgbàlóde lóníranran àwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ ń bẹ níkàlẹ̀ fáyẹ̀wò ara àwọn fi tó wa létí wípé àǹfààní ń bẹ fún gbogbo àádọ́ta ènìyàn kọ́kọ́ 50 tí wọ́n bá kọ́kọ́ ń dé lójúmọ́ ẹ máa gba káàdì ọ̀fẹ́ àyẹ̀wò ọ̀fẹ́ ẹ tún máa fi ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́ta náírà 3,000 péré gba oògùn lọ́dọ̀ wa ẹ tara ṣàṣà máa bọ̀ ní Àjọkẹ́ Plaza ní dojúkọ Swift Oil tó wà ní Tèmídìrí Òjé Ìbàdàn ẹ̀lọ́ wa ní 080-340-51533 ẹ̀mí one ló sọ wípé àní fàìsàn sọdún o.
ṣé ìrìn àjò afẹ́ lẹ fẹ́ rìn ni àbí tọrọ ajé lọ síbi yòówù káàkiri àgbáyé pẹ̀lú You Fit Fly ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé nípa ṣíṣe ètò ilé ìtura tó fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀ àti bíbáni ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ọkọ̀ òfurufú lọ síbi kíbi tẹ́ bá ń lọ lágbàáyé You Fit Fly ló ṣe é gbọ́kànlé a ti ní ìrírí ọdúnmọ́dún nípa bíbáni ṣètò tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ìrìnnà àti ilé ìtura káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé tí àwọn arìnrìn-àjò sì ń ṣe sàdánkátà sí wa tí ẹ̀yin nìkan ni ìdílé yín tàbí ọ̀pọ̀ èèyàn You Fit Fly ní ọ̀nà àbáyọ tí ìrìn-àjò yín yóò fi rọ̀ yín lọ́rùn ẹ pè wá sórí 0901 111 1190 0901 111 1190. ẹ sì lè kàn sí wa lórí www.youfitfly.com tàbí lọ́fíìsì wa tó wà ní block 8 plot 15 lópòpónà 7up olúyọ̀lé main estate ring road ìbàdàn ọ̀yọ́ state. You Fit Fly ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ìrìnnà gba ilé ìtura káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé pẹ̀lú ìrọ̀rùn.
32 FM 94.9.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to the podium. In case you're just joining us, 32 FM 94.9. Do remember that you can also join us live in our socials. You can also drop your comments there, 32 FM 949 Ibadan, both on Facebook and also on YouTube. We still have Dr. Stephen Olawale Fashakin joining us virtually, and of course our panelist has been in the studio. We have barrister Yomi Ogunlola and of course Professor Remi Ayede. All right, we hope that Mr. Femi Falana, too, senior advocate of Nigeria, if you can hear us, you can also still join us in this conversation. We are still very much talking about issues that kind of shape the country's economy and, of course, the perspective of Nigeria in the international community. All right, let me go to Barrister. You actually have some certain things you want to react to.
Yes, thank you very much. So, like I said, it is not the first time in this country We have had the case of Salisu Buhari. We have had the case of Olubumi Ete. You know, what really beats one now is why the bar is being lowered. I hope our guest is still there because I have some questions for you.
It's still here.
Can you hear?
Here.
Oh, beautiful. Sir, do you know that under the Nigerian law, the court can admit secondary evidence in, for instance, where the original is lost? Do you know that?
Yes.
Good. Now, if the court can admit secondary evidence, and from what we got from the depositions from CSU, the university could have issued a transcript, which would have been a secondary evidence. Is that true or not?
It's true.
Good. Now, I want to ask you this, sir. If I applied for a Nigerian passport and that passport was lost, and then I went to Oluwole and asked, you know, those who are experts there to help me produce another one, but must ensure that all the information that is contained in the original one is also contained in the one they will do for me. Would I have committed a crime, sir?
Yeah, that's a different scenario already.
Why
because
is it a
you
different
have the
scenario?
Of yes, a different scenario.
Why?
Because you have the opportunity of having an original passport.
I said the original was lost.
It was, but you have a replica of it from immigration.
That's what I am saying. So CSU could also have issued a transcript, which would have been a secondary evidence.
But do you believe with this kind of technology we are having in Nigeria now,
yes,
that you can have a color copy of your certificate?
I'm not talking about colored certificate. I'm talking about a transcript, which would have been secondary evidence good enough to submit to INEC. Anyway, let's leave that. Let's go to the next question that I have for you. It is true that Atiku went to the district court in Illinois to verify whether Tinubu went to Chicago State University or not. It is a good thing the university has come out to tell us that he indeed graduated from their school. But other facts emerged. One, that Tinubu spent 2 years at Chicago State University based on the certificate he presented from Richard Dale College, where he reportedly spent another 2 years. Is that correct, sir?
Are we
No. I am asking you. Sorry, sir.
I may not
Sorry, sir. This was a cross-examination.
What I'm trying to say, sir. Okay, what I'm trying to say, sir, is this. Yeah, like the Yorubas will say, now, the facts that emerged from the depositions of CSU is that Tinubu spent 2 years at Chicago State University. Why? Because he had already done 2 years in Richard Dale College.
Like equivalent to OND in Nigeria.
Exactly. Now, from the facts that emerged, the pre-qualification into Richard Dale is Government College, Lagos. In other words, Tinubu graduated from Government College, Lagos, used the certificate. There is nothing so far that shows that, like the program you have in America, like this GED online, you don't have to go to primary school, you don't have to go to secondary school to gain admission to the university. You can exactly. Yeah. So you can do GED, but there's nothing that indicates that any of such thing was done by Tinubu. Tinubu graduated from Government College, Lagos, which is the facts on ground, and that certificate he used to gain admission into Richard Dale, and then the certificate from Richard Dale to Chicago State University. Now, Lord Denning, the master of the rolls, told us that you cannot put something on nothing. we have found that by 1970, when Tinubu claimed to have gotten the result from Government College Lagos, that school was not in existence. So even if the Chicago State University says Tinubu attended their university, even if Richard Dale admits that he attended their college, without proving Government College Lagos, do you think we can put that certificate on it? Because you cannot put something on nothing. And is it not enough for Nigerians to be concerned about?
When we are talking of morality, my concern on this matter is that this case is before the Supreme Court. Do you need to cross-examine me or to give judgment or preempt what is going to come out from the Supreme Court?
I am not doing that. I'm not doing that. You know,
that's exactly what you are doing.
What we have here is a public court. We are discussing an issue generally. You know, we are discussing an issue because we are not before the court. We are not even talking. The issues that will go to the court do not relate to what I have raised. They do not relate to what I have raised, as far as I am concerned. You know, we are in the court of public opinion, and we are those who are saying morality does not matter. Let me say this: the law is built on morality. There is no way you can divorce morality from the law. The law gives power or force to morality that is acceptable by the majority. So there's no way you can ever divorce morality from the law because it forms the foundation of law. And that's why this issue is of importance to us. Right now, our children who are in the UK are being made to come and represent their certificates because the issue of forgery, they are now looking at us, you know, as a nation of forgers. And that's why it should be a topical issue today. We must address this issue for future purposes. Our children will suffer. We will suffer.
All right, let me just come in here. Okay, please go ahead, Dr. Fashakin.
Okay, you see what my learned fellow, I'm not a lawyer anyway, but I call you my learned fellow because you are putting us through a lot of things. But the bottom line is that what you are talking about the Government College Lagos is of a paramount importance. But the fact remains that I don't know that article has gone further to find that, because the basic qualification to enter into a university must be attained before you are admitted. But don't you see that is the fault of that university that admitted him? Like when Tinubu came back from America, it was employed by Mobile, and I'm quite sure he served. And NYSC could have probed into his certificate then to actually find out if I actually passed through that school or has an authentic certificate, because I know NYSC is a very credible organization that will not just employ or put anybody into NYSC service if it's not cleared. And Mobile, Tinubu went through, he was employed, and he got to the pinnacle of his career in Mobile.
Sorry, sir.
Barrister, can you take a little bit of?
Sorry, sir. Can I quickly just?
Okay.
Sorry, sir. Can I just quickly butt in, sir? What we have confirmed now is that Tinubu graduated from Chicago State University, right? We have confirmed that, sir.
That certificate is not forged.
Exactly, sir. And the degree he had is business administration. Isn't it, sir?
And it wasn't a female that did that.
No. We are not even going to
America.
He had
because
business.
He had
sir.
flying around.
No, let's not concern ourselves with that, sir. Let's not concern ourselves with that. He had BSc business administration. Isn't that so, sir?
Okay.
Can a BSc business administration be regarded as an accountant?
Oh, okay. These are very pertinent questions.
Maybe,
Barrister
Prof, you will answer this question.
Barrister, just calm down a little bit. Let's get to the nitty-gritty of this conversation. So we make sense out of all of this conversation itself. There are a number of issues being mentioned, Dr. Fashakin, and part of the questions people are asking is that there are insinuations that Tinubu's primary school certificate is not clear. A secondary school certificate is not also shown. That how did he get to a position where he would go to CSU without having some of these background certificate, talking about his primary and secondary school certificate. And those are the issues that the opposition are bringing to bear. Now, if you look at certificates in Nigeria, it plays a lot of volume. Now, many people have said, like in the advanced community, certificate is something that they don't really carry much priority on, like what happens here. It has to do with your capacity.
University also said that they don't lay emphasis on certificates.
Exactly, it has to do with your intellect and, of course, your capacity. But here in Nigeria, we talk more about your qualification and your credentials, and that's why people are getting very desperate to forge and do all sorts. But is it possible that Tinubu would not have a primary and secondary school certificate, and he went ahead to get a degree?
You have said it all anyway, that in US, you don't lay more emphasis on certificate. You lay emphasis on your ability to perform. So I'm not quite sure if all what we are saying about Tinubu, in the past, I could remember when I was in the secondary school, there is this correspondence, is it from UK or whatever? You can pass your 5 papers through correspondence without even going to school.
In the UK?
It's correct.
No, in Nigeria.
No, in
Nigeria. Oh, okay.
In Nigeria, then, yes. You may not even go to primary school. You can pass your correspondence papers online. They will send it to you, or they will send questions. I could remember this. There are a lot of our mates then that did not even go to primary school or secondary school, and they got all their papers, and they go up, and they went abroad to study. If I'm lying, the lawyer may attest to it, or the prof.
You are very correct, sir. But did Tinubu take any of this?
The issue now is that if it is confirmed, which I'm not quite sure, that Tinubu actually submitted a certificate from his secondary school that was not in existence, that's a different ball game. But if you are talking about not passing through secondary school or primary school, and you got admission in the UK or in US, that's another ball game. It could be admitted, like the US have said, that they lay emphasis on your ability to perform, not on certificate. It's only in Nigeria that we talk about doctor, lawyer, professor, and if you don't put all these titles, like I said earlier, if you don't put all these titles in your name, you start being angry.
But then there's a clause. But then, Doctor, let me take you to the provisions of the Constitution, except if you're saying that it's not relevant in this discussion. Now, there are stipulated guidelines of becoming a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And, of course, if you want to be a senator or even a governor, the Constitution has made it very expressly. You must have certain qualifications. Now, do we begin to look at that as a yardstick to assess some of those who come out for political office? Because this debate has been settled by the Constitution. There are provisions that you must meet up with what the Constitution has stipulated, and they are aware. Would we now say INEC is an accomplice in all of these errors that we are having presently in the country? Because INEC is in charge of what appears to be the electoral process, and they are supposed to interpret it. Now, would we say that INEC has fallen short or is an accomplice in all of this recklessness, like some people have said, in terms of not abiding by the rules of the Constitution here?
With due respect to INEC, INEC has not done anything wrong in respect of what they have done so far. They are not to probe into anybody's certificate. That's not their duty. And could you remember that the Nigerian Constitution says, if you can speak, you may not even have certificate. If you can express yourself, and with the language people can hear in House of Assembly or in Senate. Those are Constitution has some
without
some
qualifications
kind of, in it that must be cleared. They should be specified. They should be said categorically what you should have. They said if you attempt school SAT, or you can express yourself in English, people can hear you. You are qualified to contest for any elective post in Nigeria, either to the post of a president. So that is one of the problems we are having. The Constitution does not come out clearly as to what you should have to become the president, to become the Senate, or to become anything. I'm quite sure the lawyer is here, is listening to me, and he might say otherwise if I'm wrong. I stand to be corrected.
I do agree with you, but of course there is the educational qualification. It's clarity. I agree with you, sir. Schools that fail, or at least you must have gone through a secondary school.
Yes.
And I was going to raise that issue too, when you made mention of America, that they don't place too much emphasis on certificates. But we all know, like I said, there are online courses like the correspondence courses that you talked about that America also emphasizes. Like the GED online, you have to have a pre-qualification to enter into college. Now, but it is Prof that I want to go to. Prof, you are within the academia. Is a degree in business, or does a degree in business administration qualify you to be an accountant? Because I know so many people have been asking me that question.
All right. I hope we'll still have Prof virtually. Prof,
Yes.
I don't know if you're still here. Okay, you may have to join us back. I can't see Prof here. All right, Prof, you may have to join us back.
But I may answer that your question.
Okay.
Do you believe that if you have business admin as your first degree, and you went ahead to do ICANN in accounting?
Oh, that's a different
that
ballgame,
you
sir.
might be an accountant.
Yes, I agree with you, but there is nothing to indicate, that any of those courses were taken by the individual in question. He has a
But at the same time,
degree
who
in
are
business
we
administration.
to query this? The mobile that employed Tinubu did not query this.
That's why I said the DSS ought to show Nigeria, they must go into their records and bring the certificates that were presented to mobile. It will clear a lot of issues for the sake of Tinubu himself.
They should go to mobile.
Exactly.
Mobile okay. They can go further and clarify that.
Exactly, because if we do
mobile
that,
have gotten an authentic certificate from that school to be able to employ Tinubu as an accountant.
I agree with you, sir. And I think the DSS is listening to us. They should do that so that Nigerians can rest on this issue and allow the president to rule. There are too many problems in Nigeria. And work, exactly. So I believe that DSS can do a lot for us.
There's a lot of distraction anyway.
Yes. I agree with you.
All right, Dr. Fashakin, let me also quickly take you up on what the CJN actually said. The CJN talked about the fact that public opinion cannot override what appears to be constitutional provisions. And he's actually talking in the light. Let me just read this. It says, public opinion, no matter how weighty, cannot override the law. And you have also said, all right, and also we have a very senior advocate of Nigeria saying that there was unprecedented blackmail by first-time voters at the last election itself, doing some sort of scrutiny of what is happening in court, especially the Presidential Petition Tribunal. And now, from what Ariwola is saying, somehow he swore in some justices, and he said that there have been a lot of weighty allegations on the social media and, of course, in the public space about the role of the judiciary. He said no matter how weighty it is, it can override the Constitution. Now, are we saying that judiciary does not want to be put under check when we have instances of this kind of statement?
Thank you very much. Do you also agree with that statement?
That's immaterial.
The fact remains that what he's saying is that there could be sentiment in public opinion. You know what is going on in Nigeria now about Tinubu this, Tinubu that, Tinubu that. Even before the election, right from the primary to the campaign and everything, Tinubu has gone through a lot of stress, a lot of propagandas. And all these are there. I'm just taking an example. I'm just making an example of Tinubu's case. In every other aspect of the justice, there's no way you can put public opinions to justify your decision as a judge.
Well, it's a democracy. People have right to talk. He has said
it clearly that public opinion cannot override Constitution and the law. The law has to be taken into consideration before you can come to a conclusion of giving a judgment or judgment on a case. So the sentiment there is exactly what he's trying to put aside, because there are sentiment, there are sectionalism, there are a lot of opinion that are quite different. People that are making this statement are not comfortable with the law. They don't know what the law should take. So he's making it clear that no matter the overcry of people on certain issues, the judges should not be deterred in getting to the root of that.
But then, let me ask you this before I bring in Professor Dr. Fashakin. But is it right for there to be a law that is not obeyed? And now the people does not even have the right to question those instances of those attitudes. Let's take the last elections, which may be some of the things why the CDN had to see this. Now, INEC had said that there will be a transmission of electoral result right from the polling unit. That's part of the processes of electronic voting and, of course, embracing technology. But somehow something led to one another, and all other elections were actually transmitted right from the polling unit, except for the presidential elections. And many people asking a lot of questions, saying that this is not right. Why would you have instances where INEC would say, we were prepared for that elections, and that you did not do the due diligence of obeying the provisions of the act you yourself spelled out? And in that instance, are we going to say that the weighty questions many people are asking, the law is frowning at that, or the law doesn't recognize that in that instance?
Thank you, my moderator. I'm very happy with this, your diversion of your something. You said INEC in their act said they are going to transmit results electronically.
Right.
But do you believe, which is more authentic? I want to ask this question, which is more authentic? There are agencies in all the polling units. And an instant record and report and result was given to all the agencies.
Those are alternatives. Those are alternatives.
No, just wait. Let me just finish.
What happens to technology?
And almost all the political parties have gotten their result right from the polling unit before the INEC even make announcement. There might be problems. Like even American election, they said their server was hacked. Don't you know that it would have been a more controversial issue if that server was hacked?
How many the ICT sector, how many houses are they servicing with Wi-Fi? How many institutions have access to Wi-Fi that it will be hijacked at this point in time?
Please let me come in here.
Okay.
Our guest laid, a very, very good foundation there. You see, the issue of law is not the same as public opinion. It can never be. All right?
Thank you.
But one thing I know is this, that there is substantive law and there is procedural law, and both have to be complied with. If the law says this is how to go, you must go from A to C to B. You cannot go from A to B to C. You would have violated the law of procedure. But I think, like Femi Falana-San said, we should not stay too long on this matter, being subjudiced. It is already before the Supreme Court. So I would advise, that...
We're actually not even looking at the merit of the case before the court. We're looking at circumstances that people
I do
asking
agree
questions about.
agree with you,
And now,
GBOLABO.
because of precedents, Nigerians have complained. And if you have people bottle up a lot of things, because the society, it's not waking up to the reality that people have to ask questions under a democracy, then people will resort to anarchy. They'll take laws into their hands.
GBOLABO, let me
Let me bring
that.
in Prof. Let me bring in Prof, because we kept Prof waiting for so long. All right, Prof, can we have you in on this one?
Well, GBOLABO, you are showing worry that people will take law into their hands, but the government is ready to clamp them down with its security forces that don't believe.
So what happens to the civic space? It's shrunk.
They have to defend, and that's why we have all of these problems. I think that we are underrating the kind of challenges that is confronting this country today. And in the fullness of time, we'll reap the consequences. And that is why when you look at the question of whether morality or law, when we talk about morality, what we are saying is that there's a dilemma. People don't understand what is right or wrong anymore. Now, when we talk about law, we are saying that even when the law is clear, enforcement is a problem. So we are creating a situation of anarchy. Now, when you look at your question of, because let's not think that it's just about Asiwaju alone.
Yes.
What we are debating is the general acceptance of bad behavior as something that should be celebrated when it succeeds in making people popular or bringing money to them. I mean, this whole question of forgery, it begins it is there even in the higher institutions, where you find that people forge certificates or people are misled. And I remember there was one lady in my department at 400 level. The university found out that the admission letter that the girl had was not genuine. She was ripped of money and given an admission letter that she thought was real. And during our final year, this thing.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
We do, Prof.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
During the final year, we found out that the admission letter was a ruse. Now, you will now blame the lady and say, herself, to get that kind of admission letter. So the person who gave that admission letter is not the issue. Because that's the idea we are also trying to put forward here. Say, how did the University of Chicago allow itself for somebody to bring a certificate that is not real? I think we must be very careful how we deal with all of these things, because if certain things are right today and they are wrong tomorrow, then we have a problem. If we are blaming the victim, and we say it's the person that allowed him to be cheated of his or her money, and therefore, if the person who succeeds in cheating gets away with it, then that's fine. Then we have a problem. So I think we need to take this thing very seriously. In public service, you find a lot of people doctoring their age, and we think that it's normal, it's routine, it's regular. So when we begin to accept, some of these things, it becomes a problem. So what we are saying is that let this thing go through the court system. Let the truth of this matter be made known to the public, so that whatever consequences that comes out of it can then let it happen. But it seems people are afraid. The article is now playing politics of do and that. So somebody went to forge certificate to go and to do. I'm not saying that's the situation now. So somebody who may have gone to forge certificate to do something has no case to answer. I think it's important for us to put everything in proper perspective. If article also has something that is hiding out, things that he's supposed to do that he has not done properly, it should also be held to account. That's the essence of having a moral society and a society that takes precaution against, this kind of thing.
All right, Prof, we'll have to go on this break. I know this is very germane, but we have to go on this break. We'll be back very shortly. Do stay.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Baba Abiye in Israel and Jordan. Praise the Lord.
Brethren, you can afford not to be a part of this holy pilgrimage to
Israel and Jordan.
A holy pilgrimage to be embarked upon by multitude in the fold of Orioke Baba Abiye, tagged Gospel Promotion Outreach in conjunction with You Fit Fly.
This holy pilgrimage shall take place between 20th to 27th January 2024.
As led by Prophet and Lady Evangelist Fushu Akode Baba Abiye, alongside Evangelist Bosse Adewa and a host of other ministers of God. Remember, during the holy pilgrimage, we shall visit historical sites mentioned in the Bible, like River Jordan, Mount Capernaum, Nazareth, and other places, while all and sundry shall behold the miracle in Jesus' name. For inquiries, please call 080-9300-2096 or 080-2524-9280. Website, youfitfly.com.
A special holy pilgrimage to Israel and Jordan.
With Baba Abiye, you can afford to be left out.
Ṣẹ̀mí bí olóògùn ọ̀rẹ́.
Ìjà òdọ́là lètò tó yanjú àwọ̀.
Láàrin Mùtúmùwà.
Tóbi lọ́ba Ògúnṣínà wọ̀kìlúmọ̀ látọ́kùn ètò.
Láago 11 àárọ̀ lọ́jọ́ Ẹtì àti Àbámẹ́ta.
For the top 10 banging songs across Nigeria.
Top 10 super songs across Africa.
The Top 10 Countdown is your show.
Saturdays 12 to 1 p.m. with Danica and King Kenny.
32 FM 94.9.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to the podium on 32 FM 94.9, and of course it's been very engaging Saturday, so to say, and of course I'm also following the thread on our socials, so we'll also pick some of the comments on our Facebook in case you also will still want to drop your comment there. You can quickly do that. 32 FM 94.9 and Ibadan. And do remember, you can also call us. They've been a number of individuals trying to call in. You can also call right about now. The numbers are 070-550-949 or 080-97949. And for those outside the country who are also viewing us on our socials, you can also call this number +234 9062949. Barrister, will come to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is Onaloko Kazim from Ibadan.
All right, please go ahead, Kazim.
Good morning to Barrister Yomi Ogunlola.
Good morning, sir.
Last week I said NBA didn't do what they could have done in order to salvage Nigeria from all this mess that we are experiencing at the moment. The reason why I said that was this. NBA as a body cannot get frustrated as an individual, even if it is an individual that is fighting the cause. When late Gani Fáyẹ̀mí was fighting it, he was somehow frustrated in order to stop the fight. But if NBA can help us to fight this cause, okay, it should be a law that INEC should ask all the candidates fighting for a particular political office to upload whatever belongs to them. Are you getting it? For everybody to see. There shouldn't be secrecy whenever you are trying to be part of the public service. Are we getting it? This should be the best thing. So NBA should please help us to sponsor a bill. Are you getting me?
All right. Thank you so much, Kazim, for that. Obviously, your thoughts are actually gotten. Quickly, let me go through Facebook. Akinyemi Ademola says, I don't know why we hide on the truth in this nation. It happens to many people in Nigeria in the time of President Obasanjo. Mrs. What is this? Patricia Ite with fake result, and it has been removed. If Nigeria wants to grow, we need to see the truth. All right, Josiah Olon Shola says, it's just unfortunate. Morality, integrity is not applauded in this country. Chief Gani Fáyẹ̀mí started the expose of Mr. Tinubu forgery, but our judiciary struck out the case. A registrar of CSU under an oath orally said the plain English that certificate is not from the school. We have governors in this country that are same as Mr. Tinubu, yet professors, doctors still supporting forgery just because of their pockets. Try. All right, that is also coming from Facebook. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, please. What's the name and where you're calling us from?
I am Jerry from Mokola.
All right, please go ahead, Jerry.
I wanted to ask Barrister and the other guest, isn't INEC supposed to do qualification screening for any aspirant or Code of Conduct Bureau? And why is CSU, Chicago State University, releasing results? You should also tell us the pre-qualification, maybe probably WAEC or GC, that Mr. Tinubu used to gain admission. Why are they only releasing the results? And the DSS should have done all their work when they submitted their forms at INEC to scrutinize all the candidates. Verify there, then that's the way I think about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry, for dropping that.
Thank you very much, sir. For the first caller, I do agree with you that the NBA can do a lot, like other Nigerians, being an advocacy group, But as you know, and I saw that you rightly said it too, that the bulk of that job actually rests with the legislature. And for the second caller, you are very correct, sir. If you were with us right from the beginning, I think it was the issue I raised, because you see, the DSS has details on almost everybody. For security-wise, they should do that. It is sad that many of these things are getting revealed abroad, when the DSS can conveniently do the needful here. By now, we should know the certificates that were presented at Mobile by Tinubu to get his employment. We should know what he used in 1993.
Of course.
We should know the certificates he used in 1999, and then this one. And then they should look into GCL, Lagos, 1970, and so on and so forth. It is the job of the DSS. But let me just quickly chip this
All right,
in.
Barrister, we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, please. What's the name and where you're calling us from?
This is Sam calling from ALA.
All right, please go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I could remember that in 1999, the late Barrister Falan.
You meant, not Falano is still much alive, and he was with us earlier this morning.
Sorry.
Gani
Falano. Yeah, Gani Fáyẹ̀mí, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I could remember he fought the results until he got to Supreme Court. But the ruling there was the then governor, Tinubu, as a governor, has an immunity that he cannot be convicted or charged. So now, I'm asking, which result did he use to found job in Mobi. How did he got job in Mobi without having the new results?
That's a big question.
And I also think that's also personal aspiration on even mobile.
Exactly.
Meaning that you can bring any certificate and get a job.
No, I don't.
So I can decide to say I had graduated from Washington State University and presented my certificate. And nobody is going to question
when I was
teaching
in one federal university, it turned out that one of my colleagues who claimed to have graduated from one university with a PhD turned out to be fake. The department had to write, the university wrote to the university only to find out that the guy never went to that school nor completed the program. And he had taught with us in that department for years.
So it's a big question on the institution.
Got come out that his result was fake. He just disappeared.
You know, but to corroborate your point, sir, and I know that every graduate of University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, will attest to this. There is a road, we call it Road 1. If you graduated from Ife and you have your degree, and it is found out that your qualifying certificates for admission were forged, that certificate will be withdrawn from you. Year 1, absolutely. If you are in year 1, you are year 2, you are in year 3, you are in year 4, even you have done your final exams. If your qualifying certificates are found to be a fraud, you will be sent to Road 1. They always want students. The moment you get admission, they will start warning you about Road 1. But let me... They will tell you. Exactly. There's this one that I just wanted to add, because GBOLABO was trying to find out the nexus between public opinion and the activities within the court system, whether the courts look at consider the opinions of the public. Don't forget something, GBOLABO. The quality of a judgment is assessed by the opinion of that reasonable man on the street. All right? Whether a judgment is good or not, the law says it is the reasonable man on the street, not the lawyer in chambers or in MBA, that will assess it. It is the reasonable man on the street. If he goes home satisfied that indeed justice has been served. So it is not complete. The public opinion is definitely not completely isolated from the consideration of judges. But of course, the judges are bound by law, they are bound by procedure and the rest of the stuff. And of course, they also look at they are members of the society anyway.
All right, let's take some more comments on our socials.
Exactly.
Okay.
Prof, I don't ask you one question before. I guess you were offline.
All right, Barrister.
Business administration. Can a student graduate from in business administration and be an accountant?
It's possible.
Okay.
If he specializes in accounting as the sub-field of business administration.
Okay, like going for ICANN and so where in a situation where he did not go for ICANN and all of those qualifying exams, can he be an accountant?
No, it's challenging to call yourself an accountant
without an ICANN. But we can't rule out that he never got that because we are not privy to that yet. All right, we have this one. Celeru Venture says, Barrister, I'm sorry you are not making sense at all. What you're proving is bias. Tinubu was an ex-senator, ex-governor, top executive in an international oil company. Performed well. Who else will be fit for the job? Barrister, you advise to swallow your hatred for Mr. President.
Prof just told us about somebody who was lecturing in his faculty now with PhD. Orewa.
He was there for many years. He was the boldest of the lecturers, very proud and self-confident. We didn't know that all of that is not fake.
All right, we also have this one.
Where did you get his knowledge from, Prof?
I don't know.
He hasn't gone to the university.
YouTube is there. There's YouTube. But Dr. Fashaki, there's YouTube and of course Webinar. These days of Webinar and YouTube, it's there. You can do it yourself online.
Then there wasn't things like that, though.
There wasn't things
like that. There's no way you. That's because the Prof is not talking of yesterday only.
All right, Prof. Maybe
when you talk about yesterday, it was even worse. There are people who were in the university system who never had qualifications, they claim. And they were there, some of them even successfully retired because the means of verification was not also very instant. Takes how many months that time for a letter to move from Nigeria to the US?
All right, we have this one. Idowu Lawson says, good question. How was he employed in an American company in Mobile? Your lawyers, you lawyers are the problem of this country. You know the truth, but you keep boarding your clients on to take useless cases to court for your selfish purpose. And the other candidate, Atiku Abubakar, why wouldn't the DSS and security agencies check them out too?
Of course.
Those institutions, are they going to be manned by angels without biases? And I think Barrister will have to answer that much later. We'll take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, Barrister. Now, the question of not using the word of this person, that it's not a good word to use, actually. I jumped into that. But then saying that there are some critical cases that lawyers ought not to take. Now, how then do you begin to say this is a case I don't want to take, or it's a case that is not worth it? Because he's talking about...
I agree with the writer. You see, if you bring a case to me, and I look at it, and I say, oh, okay, my friend, you are wrong here. I would advise you accordingly. If you don't listen to me, I would advise you probably go look for another lawyer. But not too many Nigerian lawyers can do that.
Even when they're going to pay you well.
Even when they're going to pay you well. But you see, integrity matters. Integrity matters. And it is very sad that many of us are throwing that, to the dogs. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be. And again, what he said, look, why should an OB tell Nigerians that he has a certificate from UNN and then he goes to INEC and submits a secondary school certificate? Nigerians should probe that too. Nigerians should probe it. Nigerians should probe Atiku too. We are not against Tinubu per se. Like Prof said earlier, it is not about Tinubu. It is about a system that is gaining ground and that may be injurious to the nation on the long run. Look at what is happening, for instance, in the UK. Our children are being asked to come now and prove their certificates. Just like the days when, drug pushing was so high, you are traveling with your wife, they will take your wife to one corner, humiliate her. Those are some of the things that will begin to happen now. Many who are seeking admission abroad, you are up against a mountain with things like this that are happening. Many of those who are already there now, they are schools. Because I was speaking to a friend of mine who is a lecturer in one of the universities in America, and he said, look, all that has happened now, Chicago State University's rating may be affected. Right. When they are doing, the normal profs are be waiting.
But Chicago State University has a record of scandals.
This is another dimension to it. Okay, Prof, do you want to speak more on that?
Yeah, I mean, when the discussion came up, there were all kinds of.
All right, sorry, Prof. You may have to hold your thoughts. We have a caller here. Hello, good morning. Yes, please.
Okay. Hello, please. I want the guest to help me answer the question I have.
Can we have your name, please?
Who is responsible? Which body is responsible for conducting eligibility tests on aspirants? INEC or Code of Conduct Bureau before handing them over to DSS if they are found guilty. The second question is, can anybody gain admission into any university without having secondary school certificate or primary school?
All right. But we didn't get your name and where you're calling us from. What's your name and where you're calling us from?
Jerry again from Okola.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. All right, let me go to Dr. Fashakin. Did you hear the question, Doctor?
Well, I will answer him about the prof is also can also expatiate that. But in the past, you can get admission into the university without going to primary or secondary school, because there are correspondence courses that you can do, and once you qualify with all those courses, you can gain admission into the university.
Yes.
But nowadays, there is emphasis on secondary school and NECO or GCE, so you can or NCE or whatever. But even before you get into NCE, you must have your basic qualification for the school cert qualification. That is, but what he said again is that to be employed, there is one thing we should look into this. So we are now probing into his qualification to enter into a university or to enter into Chicago State University. Mobile may not be at fault because there is nobody now or in America that will be asking for such a certificate. What Moby used is the certificate he got from his university, and that must be the reason why all this thing was not in place. Because now that there is only Tinubu, the article that went further to probe into how he got into that universities that is bringing all these things. If it is only the certificate and to ascertain if he actually went into that university, that would have been no problem because he actually went to the university and he got his certificate. But what they are now probing and people are now talking about forgery is this secondary school, the basic qualification to enter into that university. That could be clear. That is the only thing we are challenging now as far as I'm concerned. And if I'm wrong, I may be corrected.
You're very correct.
Yeah, just to add, I think that even now, it's not compulsory that you must go to secondary school or primary school. I have some of my colleagues who taught their children at home. What is important is that you must have those qualifications, 5 or 6 credits, as the case may be in NECO. And you can sit for private citizen GCE, General Certificate of Education, which is equivalent of SSC. So it is not compulsory that you must see the 4 walls of secondary school to meet
as a matter of fact, Prof,
for entry into university.
As a matter of fact, Prof, our father in the law, Afe Babalola, never went through that process. He did correspondence courses and he got his admission.
Same thing with I think
Obafemi Awolowo, exactly. You know, and in America, I just mentioned the GED online program. You don't need to go to primary or secondary school. You can just do the GED online, and you will have the requisite qualification to be admitted into a college.
University.
Exactly. So that's what we are saying.
Now let's go to Atiku Abubakar because this conversation is not without him. It's in the center of all of this, and of course, that was about was it yesterday or a day before? He actually said that this is not a personal vendetta. And it's not a question of an Atiku Abubakar quest. He's calling on political leadership. He's calling on community leaders, even religious and traditional ones, and the likes of NNPP senators, NNPP Senator Rabi Umuso Kwankwaso, to rally round to ensure that the political vendetta, some would say, against President Tinubu is actually actualized. He said the question of morality has to be protected and, of course, accountability in the public affairs. Now, for what Atiku is pursuing, would we say that this is a way Atiku is just trying as much as possible to get himself to power at all costs, or is a question of precedent, setting a straight line precedent for any other emergence to happen in terms of certificate and presentation of qualifications? Yeah, let me start off with Dr. Fashake. What do you make of Atiku calling on every individual in Nigeria to ensure that justice has been served in this particular matter?
You see, I could have bought into his ideas if he didn't go further by saying he has a cause to settle with Tinubu, making references that Tinubu stopped him from being a president in 2015. That despite the fact that he was his presidential candidate, he converted for Yaradua. He said he made it impossible for him to be president in 2015, 2019, 2023. So it's becoming a personal issue.
Do we take it away from the messenger and look at the substance of what he's saying?
I don't think that is precisely what happened, sir. I think what happened was Atiku alleged that some were saying he betrayed Tinubu, and then he asked a question. If you say I betrayed Tinubu, this and this and this was what happened. It is. I don't think he took it on a personal note. I think we have to be very careful about that. You know,
he would have said that to me. He could have outside did not betray him. That he has a grudge against him. He has been keeping this grudge since 2015. We can interpret it to so many things, so many areas.
Okay, that would be our own interpretation.
Said, no, I don't have any grudge against him. That ends that question.
All right.
That's the way I see it.
Okay, Prof, I would also want you to come in here. Now, there's also reports. Now, let me just posit this. There's also reports that Atiku Abubakar is also not clean. Now, there is also this thing being said in the media that in 2009, he was convicted, accomplice. He has a conviction of his accomplice, former United States Congressman William Jefferson, over bribery charges. Same man whose principal, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, wrote a damaging testimonial on and whose years in customs are signposted by corruption allegations. Now, do we say that Atiku himself have a clean slate to actually pursue this case? Because he who comes with equity must definitely come with clean hands. Now, we are trying most times to say, do not look at the messenger, look at the content. But here, we're in Nigeria. Now, how do we look away from the Atiku atrocities, alleged atrocities, in terms of even some of his dealings in customs and, of course, the Williams case? Now, would we say that we'll take it away from an Atiku and face the content of this issue, or these are just politicians trying to confuse Nigerians, like some people have argued? Or what do we intend to get out of all of this?
We should not lose sight of the shady deals of any person who aspires to public office. What normally happens is that when you have a clash of ambition between two elephants, when they have to confront each other, a lot of truth now gets into the open. And that's what we benefit from. Because, again, don't also forget that although they may be fighting now, they are close business partners. They intermarry. They are relatives, and they do business together. So when you are dealing with them, you should recognize that all the time. Because at the end of the day, it's only when they have clash of ambitions like this, and they are fighting around that ambition, that we have the benefit of finding out, some of these very important truths that we need to know in order to determine whether they are even fit for office or not. Otherwise, if we start taking side and taking position because we think that we can benefit from one person or because one comes from our part of the country or the other, then they will just take us for a ride. Because at the end of this, you see what happens after the courts are decided. Because what they are just fighting for is their own ambition. But in the process, the fallout of that process is actually the truth. The integrity that we want to pursue, the accountability that we think we owe. So in this moment, we should actually seize the advantage of their clash of ambition and conflict to pursue the public interest agenda. That's my own understanding of it.
Prof. Barrister, we do have a call. All right. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, please. What's the name and where are you calling us from?
Abdulatif Akorede is my name.
All right, please go ahead, Akorede. Do we still have you there?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Akorede. Can you go ahead, please?
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
I don't think this person is ready for us.
All right, we have another caller here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, the numbers are still 07055 949, 07055 949, or 08097 949. And do remember, you can also call us internationally, international guests. You can also, listeners and viewers and our socials, you can also call this number 09062 949 to be part of this conversation. All right, Barrister.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to take it from where Prof stopped.
Okay.
You see, I think it is an indictment on the system. When you hear people say the failure of the system is what encourages self-help, because if the institutions were functional, all of these issues would have been addressed. Like I said, the DSS is empowered, to do all of these searches, and it has the wherewithal to so do it. We don't have to go to Chicago State University or Richard Dale to get all of the information that we're getting if the institutions were functional. Now, Nigerians know very well that the institutions are not functioning. So do you know what their prayer has always been? That God will continue to bring wahala amongst them so that today Atiku has exposed what is exposable, in Tinubu's wardrobe. Let Tinubu to do that for Atiku. Let another one do it for Obi. And that is because that is what it makes Nigerians happy to see them exposing one another if the institutions are not doing what they should do. But like Prof said, I think the better alternative is for the institutions of state to be able to do all of these things. Look at the record. Look at the things we hear about Atiku that he has done to this country. Should such a man be walking free if the system was good? Look at Obi. We have heard so many things. I even read some reports. I don't know if it is true or not, if it is an allegation I read, that he was involved in this drug business and so on and so forth. We don't know which is the truth. Why? Because the institutions of state are not working. So I think the beauty of it is we are an evolving democracy, and if we want our democracy to be enduring, then we must put our institutions right and make them effective.
All right, quite instructive. And the numbers are still 070550949 or 08097,949. And you can also call us, our international audience, +234 90 62,949. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, this is Jerry again.
All right, Jerry.
I just want to conclude that one of my questions was answered and the second one was not answered. So I will blame INEC and CCB for this Tinubu saga that is causing Boha. Because I disagree with the other guests that said you can do online courses without passing through secondary and primary school, because before you can know how to read and write, you have to pass through secondary, primary. And
you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to, sir.
I have friends who brought up their children from home up to secondary school.
So there has to be a requirement that has to be made.
People train themselves. Some people train themselves.
Hello?
Sir. Yes, we are listening to you. Some people train themselves.
I want to know Tinubu's alumnus. At least he should have an alumnus. He should have people that he goes to primary schools with and secondary schools with.
All right, Jerry, we heard you loud and clear.
Use that qualifications to gain admission. That's the way I see.
All right, Jerry, we got you loud and clear. Hello, good morning.
All
right, we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, please. What's the name of you're calling us from?
My name is Duwadidiro. I'm calling from Ojono.
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to appreciate Barrister for all what you have been saying this morning. Barrister, I really like your statement very well, and I like the way you used to analyze. I can't miss your program anytime you're on radio. Sir, I just want to ask a question. Is this how we are going to be continuing in this country like this? When are we going to fix things all right? When all these our leaders are doing this kind of thing they are doing to us, and this thing is affecting us internationally, when is it going to be the right time when we are going to set the record straight? When? Because all these things they are doing is causing mess for us. Please, just let me tip one thing. There was a time that I traveled to Kenya. When we go to their airport, if you see the way they mess us, I was crying on that day. Other countries that are passing us by, they ask Nigerians to stay. Oh, stay there, don't go to anywhere, stay there. And other countries that are passing us by, I was crying. What is going on? What is wrong with us in this country? Why our leaders are doing us like this? Why? And we have people that are complaining on this thing on a daily basis, but instead for them to do the right thing, they will not do it. People are dying outside there. Do you know what they are taking back of right now? We are fighting on this certificate issue of a thing. We have many graduates outside there. They are roaming about the street. They have the general certificate. They are unable to get to the power. They are unable to get the employment. They are unable to do something in this country. And some people are using fake certificates. Some people are using certificates that is not genuine. When are we going to get things right in this country? Is this how we are going to continue? We are tired. We are tired.
Yes,
we can actually feel your pulse.
Exactly.
And that has been
yes,
the kind of emotions
exactly.
seen at the public space.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much. You know, let me, GBOLABO, please, let me crave your indulgence. You see,
I want to deviate a little bit.
Okay, sir.
Our problem, we are about 63 years in independent country. If the military have left us the way we came in, by now, these people have grown past this problem we are emphasizing, that we are having now. America, Europe, that we are talking about their system, they've been in democracy for how many years now? So it's like when we are just about getting staggered or trying came in and cut us short.
Exactly.
And we begin again. That is one of the problems we have been having. We are just about how many years into this democracy? We will get there, but we still have to be patient.
Exactly. I want to agree with you, sir. And I was just going to make the same point, that it is a good thing that issues like this are coming up on the front burner. It shows that Nigerians are, showing their disaffection for some of those things that have become almost a way of life in Nigeria, but which are wrong.
Yeah.
And the only problem here is, I would have thought, that the legislature would take it up from here, because it is the duty of the legislature to discover the problems in the polity and come up with appropriate laws to address them. It appears our legislature is not yet living up to expectation.
All right, I will expect that will be some of the final shot coming from Barrister, because our time is fast. But let me quickly go to Professor Ayede. Can we have your final thoughts as we leave the studios?
Yeah, just to tell Barrister that the Senate President wears Ashiwaju's cap. So how can he be making laws or probing or investigating Ashiwaju?
What about the previous state president, Senate President?
Prof, I'm beginning to wonder. That could be very trivial.
They did quite a little bit, especially during Saraki's presidency. There were so many issues that came up, and they tried to stop Buhari. You see, the second term when he was not there, it was a free fall. And we see how we ended with Emefiele's reign.
But do you think we are matured enough for that? What my own advice is that we should be patient with the system. We should be patient.
We should be patient with criminality. We should be patient with lies.
I'm not talking about that.
All right, our time is actually fast spent, and I know the ginger is still there, but we have to leave the studio. Dr. Fashaki, what are we leaving with this morning, especially with the CSU?
We should be patient with sacrifice.
Can we have your final thoughts on that issue, on the CSU issue?
On what?
On the CSU issue, certificate issue, so to say.
We should leave it to the Supreme Court to decide. Who are we? Whatever we are saying is just our own thought and our opinion. The final decision comes from the court. So let's be patient and wait patiently, and not to hit the politics, so that we wait for the judge for the final decision of the court. Thank you.
All right, I must say a big thank you to the panelists and all our guests who participate in the conversation this morning. Glad that you did this with us. And of course, we're still saying orally this morning, we still intend to have Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, also join us on subsequent episode of the program. It's been a great morning. Thank you so much for being part of this. My name is GBOLABO Famous Go. Join us again next week for another interesting edition of the Podium. Bye.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM.
You will find a funnier radio station.
To depression.
32 FM 94.9.
Alright, my name is Sheyilo, BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and you're tuned to the best radio in Nigeria. You're listening to 32 FM in the city of Ibadan. Don't touch that. I'm going to increase the volume and keep listening. Listen,